Remember, Herod told these guys, go find the baby and then come back to me and tell me where it is because I want to go and worship him too. Now, they know that Herod's plan is not to go back and worship Jesus, but to do what to Jesus? What? To kill him, right? They know. And so what happens is God shows up and he says this. This is very important. Second massive thing of the day. The government is asking you to do something and I'm telling you not to obey them. This is massive. We teach this in our membership classes. Throughout church history, it's called civil disobedience. When the government, when people in power, when the empire starts to tell you, here's the way to define money or sexuality or religion or all, the Bible, whatever, we always take the authority of the scriptures, which is God's word to us, over top of what the surrounding culture tells us about anything. This is what we go to. So we're not politicians, all right? We don't figure out what's in the air and then just shift opinions about things based on whatever's popular. What we do is we go, man, what is the scriptures laid out in regard to this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue? And even if the government comes to us and says, you have to pay attention to this or do this, like there are some governments in the world I have heard where you can't read Romans 1 publicly because it's seen as hate literature because of what it says about sexuality. Now, if our government ever says, in Canada, we're not allowed to read Romans 1, that's in the Bible, it's hate literature, that weekend, we're gonna read Romans 1, all right? I'm not gonna, you do it. I'll get you to do it. I'm not gonna do it. But because what we have to be willing to do is what these guys, that there are times when there's pressures, there are times when God trumps even the government, even the powers, and we need to kick against what is popular. We need to kick against even the political pressures to do and say certain things. And there are times when we refuse to stand up and go to the back of the bus because we're Christians. That's a Rosa Parks thing for anyone under 50. There's times when we walk with Martin Luther King Jr. for the sake of civil rights because that's what Christians would do. There's a time when we fight with William Wilberforce against the government to let slavery become illegal because we're Christians. And there are times when the SS knocks on the door that we look in their face and we lie to them that we don't have Jews under the house. That's the principle. That there are times when you lie. Now that's a slippery slope. I mean, what do you mean? Listen, there are times when God comes in a dream and goes, don't pay attention to what they've asked you to do. That's why we smuggle Bibles into China, even though it's illegal, and we lie about it. Because the world is not the idealistic world that you think it is. The world is a very messed up place where Japanese men get their heads cut off and it goes on YouTube, where Jordanian pilots get burned to death in cages and it goes on YouTube, and children get crucified in Iraq right now, today, and buried alive. That's the world we live in. A world where we have to figure out what it looks like to follow Jesus in the mess of the world, even when, I mean, look at this. You know what I think one of the defining issues of my children's life is going to be in Canada? It's none of the stuff that we talk about right now in the Canadian context. I think the defining issue for our kids, my generation of kids, their lives is going to be how to navigate and deal with radical Islam's expanse into the Western world. And how do you figure it out? And here, look at the guy we follow. Check this. His entire life, people wanted to kill him. Right from when he's a baby. So you and I are like, oh my goodness, it's such a surprise. Someone will want to kill Christians? But that's over there somewhere. In our kids' generation, that's not over there. That's here. Right from Jesus' birth, someone goes, I want to kill that guy. And this is the one we latch our cart to. We're like, this is the rabbi I follow really closely. Sorry, what do you want to do to him? All right. See you, Jesus. His entire life, There are moments where we go, it's time to subvert the empires that we live in and not say yes to them, even if it means our life.